Hello, good evening, and welcome to round 6 of this F1 2016 career mode season from the tight and twisty Monte Carlo Street Circuit. It can only be the Monaco Grand Prix. And what a return to form we've had in the last 2 races for the famous Ferrari team. First Kimi Raikkonen in Russia, and then Sebastian Vettel in Spain, standing on the top step of the podium, signalling Ferrari's intent to win this championship in a year where we all thought perhaps Mercedes might be the dominant team. Red Bull at the minute, well, we seem to have the fastest car, but we just don't seem to be able to capitalise on that. Not taking the wins that we perhaps should be in this championship. Costing us points at the moment, making silly mistakes, having a little bit of unreliability for Daniel Ricciardo. We need to get our act together. We now have 2 threats to see off, and this might just be the race where we can get our season back on track and start to look towards championship success. I'm going to take a quick look at the championship standings now, and Nico Rosberg currently leading the way by 14 points from ourselves in second, still just that 1 point ahead of Kimi Raikkonen in third. Sebastian Vettel up to 4th after his fantastic win in Barcelona. Hamilton and Ricciardo still not perhaps at the level they would have hoped to be. Jenson Button there in 7th, still keeping McLaren in reasonable touch. Valtteri Bottas, Felipe Massa and Sergio Perez round out the top 10 of the championship. And a look at the bottom half, we can see now that everybody down to Danny Kvyat in 15th place as a point scorer in the Drivers' Championship. Nico Hülkenberg, surprisingly, still yet to score points this year. A disappointing season for the German in the Force India car. And now a look at the Constructors' Championship, and after a couple of disappointing rounds, Red Bull have fallen from the top of the championship down to 3rd. Mercedes taking over the lead, Ferrari up to 2nd after those back-to-back wins. Williams Racing up there in 4th, McLaren 5th, not too far away from the Williams team. Then it's down to the Force India team in 6th, Toro Rosso in 7th, Haas in 8th, Renault in 9th, Sauber and Manor still yet to score any points this season. It's almost time then for lights out here in Monte Carlo. Let's hand over to our commentary team of Anthony Davidson and David Croft.
Motor racing has come a long way since the first Grand Prix of the early 20th century. We have faster cars, bigger circuits, highly trained drivers who've dedicated their lives to racing. But still, we return here. Still, it remains the most desired victory in Formula One. Still, we race the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. And as the drivers start thinking about getting a good start and how on earth to get through Saint-Devote in one piece, I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, if we might be seeing a safety car or two today.
Well, you wouldn't exactly bet against it, would you? Statistically, it is pretty common, of course. About 80% of all Monaco Grand Prix will have at least one safety car. And that's despite the incredible work of the marshals around here, who you'll often see lifting cars out of the way just under the yellow flag conditions. The teams will always plan for the worst case scenario though, and they'll be making sure various caution periods are built into their strategy models for the race.
Okay, it's a short run to Saint-Devote, and you know what Monaco's like, so try to defend this lead.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Red Bull in pole position then, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Button, Daniel Kvyat and Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Sainz, Grosjean and Kimi Raikkonen, Alonso, Wehrlein, Sergio Perez and Rosberg, Gutierrez, Magnussen, Jolyon Palmer and Valtteri Bottas, Ericsson and Nasser, Rio Haryanto and Felipe Massa completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Welcome to the grid then for this Monaco Grand Prix, and as you just saw, an unusual looking grid. And the reason for that is there were a couple of incidents in Friday practice which saw a 5-place grid penalty for my teammate Daniel Ricciardo, who had qualified second. He drops 5 places for a collision with Alonso, I believe it was, who actually had a puncture heading up the hill out of Saint-Devote. Not enough room really to get round him. Bit of a harsh penalty that. And 10 places for Nico Rosberg, I think it was. I didn't see his incident, I don't know what happened, but obviously there was 2, I think, so he's picked up 2 grid penalties. He's down the order. A couple of other penalties dished out as well. I think Bottas got 1. But it's made for an interesting grid, and instead of having to defend from my teammate into turn 1, I've got to look to a Mercedes. And we know that they're very quick off the start, so we're going to have some defending to do. With that said, let's take a look at the race strategy. And now the team are suggesting that I start on the super soft and go to the ultra soft at the end. They're saying I can do that. I can't really do that because I set my fastest lap in Q2 on the ultra soft. So, in fairness, we're going to keep it realistic. We're going to qualify on the... No, we're not going to qualify. We've already qualified. We're going to start the race on the ultra soft and then switch to the super soft. A one-stop strategy should see us okay, providing we don't hit any barriers or run into a back marker, something like that. So, with everything taken care of, it's 38 laps of fuel, a 39-lap race. Let's get ready to start the formation lap here in Monaco. Alright, formation lap is underway. Obviously this is going to be a particularly difficult race for me. This is a circuit where I don't know, I struggle with the proximity of the barriers, shall we say. So there's not going to be an awful lot of talking. I'm hoping I can get into turn 1 Saint-Devote first and dictate the pace a bit, cover off the Mercedes, but I don't know. Everybody else has gone contrary on the strategy to me. Whether they actually legitimately did that, I don't know. But obviously the next thing to worry about apart from the barriers is going to be back markers. Getting through the traffic is a very difficult thing here. We have to be aware of who's ahead of us, and if needs be, try and manage the gaps ahead as well as behind, so that we don't cause ourselves too many problems. I'm nervous. I'm more nervous than I've been, I think, for any other race this season, simply because I know this is the toughest race that I've driven yet. Not really got our brakes up to much temperature, that's a problem. There's a bit of a gap as well, so the engine temperature is going to be creeping up through the roof. We come onto the grid to take our grid slot. Slightly different grid here because we're not on the racing line as such. The racing line sort of goes through the middle of the first and second grid slots, so it can be done here. You can get a good launch from second place. The penalty is not as big as it might be in other races. The last cars are just coming into position, and in a few moments' time we'll be ready to start the race. Good start for once. We've actually made a good start for once. Right, let's just keep it smooth. Ericsson's out of the race already. And we have a virtual safety car. Just a virtual safety car, not a full one. If you could feel how much my heart is pounding now. Oh, we got a wobble there. Looks like there was actually a couple of incidents there. Alright, we seem to have broken Hamilton a little bit. Let's just try and keep it a little bit smooth. Oh, that's playing with fire, Paul. Not entirely sure how that happened. I thought I was plenty slow enough there. I guess I did have some pretty cold brakes, didn't I? How's the fuel looking? I think we're bringing it under control. That was cautious. I think I'm being perhaps a little too cautious there. Don't worry about the fuel, Jeff. We'll cover it. I lost the back a little bit under braking there. I want to pick up any corner cutting penalties like we did in Russia. I tell you, the most stressful thing about this race is going to be if we come up against back markers. It's difficult enough just having the barriers there, but if we start to lap people later in the race, whew, that's going to be tough. Let's try not to push too much at the minute. You can see Ricciardo's struggling. That's definitely a feature of this race. Making up places after grid penalties is pretty much the biggest nightmare. Remember, back in 2001, Coulthard stalled it from pole, and he got stuck behind Enrique Benoldi for X amount of laps, pretty much the whole race, because he had to go obviously to the back of the grid, and it handed Ferrari a 1-2 win on a plate basically. And Jaguar got their first podium in F1 that day, I believe. Eddie Irvine finishing third. So strange things happen around this racetrack. I don't know what happened to bring that virtual safety car out, but I can see we're already coming up to lap people. People to lap just going through the tunnel. That's not what I was hoping for. I was hoping to get at least to the first round of pit stops without needing to start trying to lap people. So hopefully we don't catch them too much without giving too much time away behind us. Oh boy, there's the first touch. Ooh, that was a little bit close to the inside barrier at the casino corner. Or the corner after the casino, I forget what it's called. Right, I'm going to run in lean for a bit, save the fuel. Keeping that gap pretty stable at 6.9 at the minute. Might start to come down when these ultra soft start to wear out a bit. That was delightfully close to that tyre wall. I don't think I'm going to be using the MFD much here today either, because I just don't want to take my eyes off this track. Looks like that gap is creeping down by a tenth or two per lap. Keep it out the wall, ball. There's a good fella. Don't know how the hell I made that corner. I thought I was going over the painted curb for sure. Right, are we pitting at the end of the next lap? We are indeed. through the tunnel will put it back into standard. Got some yellow flags up ahead, and we see Felipe Nasr is out of the race. So something maybe down at Saint Devote. 2.7, not the best pit stop, guys. Could have done better. I hope I don't ever have to go in that pit lane entrance again. I just don't like the way it comes at that exit curb. Right, how far are Hamilton and Vettel going in this race? If I can just match their pace and not have to overtake them on track, then that would suit me just fine. Way too cautious into some of these corners. But I'd rather be slow and cautious and pick up points than fast and aggressive and in the wall and not pick up the points. We need to bounce back from our mistake in Barcelona. No corner cut for that? Okay, I'd have thought there would have been. I got an itchy foot and I got an itchy back. I'm happy to sit behind Vettel as long as I can keep Hamilton relatively in sight. But if Hamilton starts to get away, we might have to think of something. Excuse me. Okay, well, all of that about sitting behind Vettel just went literally out the window. We had so much more pace than him. Oh shit. Chip the front wing. Fucking knew that swimming pool would catch me out at some point. I really don't want a nose change if I can get away with it. Come on, stop being a bit fucking sluggish now. Alright, what's this going on up here? There's a traffic with a blue flag. Alright, we're coming up on some faster cars. Whoa! Okay, well, Bottas is out of the race. We might have to catch a replay of that one at the end. Don't turn in, Esteban. It looks like the traffic didn't work out very well for Hamilton. I think that's him right there in front of us. A turn up for the books it would be if we could overtake him before he pits, but it's not essential. If we can just stick with him, we'll get a pit stop. Vettel still has to stop as well, so Alright, Lewis, what's on your mind, huh? I am not going to go anywhere near being aggressive on you. I'm just going to sit here, watch what you do, follow along, and then open up when you pit. Yeah, we are, Jeff, but we don't need to worry about it. We can just stick right behind him, and then he'll pit. We'll win the race. You don't have to be attacking to win every race. You can just be tactical in your thinking sometimes, and it will be the best way to win that race. We're in DRS, I'm not even going to use it. I don't want to be throwing this anywhere near up the inside of Hamilton. There is absolutely no need to be aggressive against him. Just sit behind him, and when him and Vettel pit, we'll have a good lead. Of course, what we also don't want to do is lose our car into braking into that chicane if we can help it. There he goes. Hamilton is going into the pits. Now we open it up and we push a bit. Fuck off, barrier. Not today, sunshine. One tap is all you're getting. Okay, that felt horrible through that chicane, I'm not gonna lie. I think Vettel has pitted. He has indeed. Fuck off with your time penalty. You try driving a car that feels this shit. Christ, we picked up 3 seconds. We're gonna need those 3 seconds at the end. No, come on, turn in. I believe in you, Red Bull. I believe in you. Oh no, we're catching traffic. We're catching that huge line of cars that's been on the map in front of us. Oh fuck, that's bad news. I am so tense. Oh, you're not going to call a safety car on me now. That would just end my race. Two to go. 2 laps to go. What's that gap behind? .4. We're into the last few corners. And surely, we're going to come across the line and we're going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Yes! Get in there!
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looked so comfortable out there.
So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner.
Oh my god, that was so tense. It was going fine until I clipped my front wing and picked up that penalty. And then when they were on the ultra softs and they were coming straight back at me, Jesus Christ, I thought, he's catching me at over a second a lap and he has more than enough laps to do it. All he needs to do is get within 3 seconds of me and he'll steal this. But as you can see, we just had enough. Another couple of laps, we'd have lost that race. Oh, my heart's been going like a jackhammer. I don't mind admitting that. Okay, let's collect our thoughts and take a look at the classified results from this Monaco Grand Prix. As you can see, we've won the race. Lewis Hamilton second, Vettel third, fell away. I don't know quite how he ended up so far behind, but we're not going to question it. Daniel Ricciardo getting up to fourth. Shame he couldn't get on the podium, has to be said. Danny Kvyat there up in fifth. Good result for him, just ahead of his teammate Carlos Sainz, came in sixth. And finally, points on the board for Nico Hülkenberg, seventh place for him, ahead of Alonso in eighth, Raikkonen down in ninth, Rosberg all the way down in 10th, picking up just a solitary point for his championship campaign. And I look at the bottom half of the results now, and well, we know Bottas didn't finish the race because he speared across the track onto the racing line directly in front of us. So we saw that one. We didn't see what happened to the two Saubers. Unfortunately, we know one of them was parked up down the escape road at Saint-Devote. Don't know which one it was. I think it was Nasser Ericsson. I don't think he even got through the first lap. Whew. I'm still tense. I'm still so tense. Right, let's take a look at the updated driver standings, and as you can see, we go top of the table by 10 points from Nico Rosberg. Lewis Hamilton with that third place, he moves up to third, 23 points behind. Then the two Ferraris in fourth and fifth, led by Vettel ahead of Raikkonen. Daniel Ricciardo still down in sixth. That'll be disappointing for him. He'll want to pick up a few more points over the second half of the season, or over the coming races actually. Jenson Button remains in 7th. Then the two Williamses in 8th and 9th of Bottas and Massa. And Sergio Perez, last man in the top 10 for Force India. And a look at the bottom half, and no real changes there. Except that Hülkenberg moves up to 14th, Kvyat up to 13th, and Carlos Sainz up to 11th. And Pascal Wehrlein on race results moves up to 19th in the championship. And a look now at the Constructors' Championship, and we see our team, Red Bull, back on the top, 2 points ahead of Mercedes in second, Ferrari in third, McLaren up to fourth, McLaren overtaking the Williams this weekend, Toro Rosso up to sixth ahead of Force India, Haas stay eighth, Renault stay ninth, and Sauber and Manor still yet to score a point this season. And that, my friends, is going to do it for this Monaco Grand Prix. Possibly the hardest race I've done this season, certainly the most tense race I've done this season. But all that matters is we finished on the top step of the podium, and I will see you for round 7 next time. Until then, take care, goodbye.